Amazon, Facebook, there are big techs all report this week. We have Apple, Google, and Microsoft reporting this afternoon, and some investors are expecting an absolute blowout report from these three companies this afternoon. Michael Lee is with us. All right, Michael, are you expecting a blowout? And I think you are, actually. I think you're looking for an absolute blowout report on Facebook and Google. Why those in particular?
Yeah, hey, Stuart. We've had an interesting 18 months in the pandemic. And so what happens when we're going into a recession or when business slow down, the first thing to go is the marketing budget. And as those marketing dollars have come back online, they have been heavily concentrated towards digital advertising. Well, of course, Facebook and Google own about 54% of the digital ad marketplace. And why do companies spend more money? You know, there's a higher yield on digital advertising. So there's a bigger bang for your buck on each advertising dollar spent. And you would have thought that with Apple's iPhone new privacy restrictions, the iOS restrictions that they've talked about would hamper that sort of business, because it's supposed to stop companies like Facebook and Google from tracking you all over your phone. Well, you didn't see any of that translate to Snapchat or Twitter. So being that Google and Facebook are much bigger players in the market, they're much better run companies, that this is most likely going to translate through to their earnings as these big companies just get bigger.
All right, Michael, let's suppose that all the forecasts are right and all the five big tech companies really do report absolutely stellar, above and beyond the profits that they were expected to make. Supposing it goes really, really well, does that support the whole market, not just big tech, but the whole market for the rest of the summer?
Yeah, well, Stuart, I think it's part of a trend that analysts are too, analysts, sell-side analysts, the most bullish, optimistic people in the world are simply too bearish. They've underestimated the speed of this recovery and the strength of this recovery, and I think it's translating through to these big companies. So yes, these companies dominate the indices. You know, the top 5 companies make up 24% of the S&P 500. So if they're blowing the doors off, yes, it is gonna support the overall market, because a lot of these big companies are the market, if that makes sense.
Do you have a favorite stock amongst the big techs right now?
Yeah, I like Amazon. They're growing their digital advertising footprint. They're dominating in the cloud. And as Susan just mentioned, now that you have these checks going out for children, that continued fiscal stimulus, you just got a blowout consumer confidence number. The pandemic has been extraordinarily good towards Amazon, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
Okay, got it. Michael Lee, thanks for being here. We will see you again real soon. And of course, we're watching those tech reports this afternoon. Let's get to the